Hilda.
I'm Phil.
And we are Suddenly Ducks.
And we're doing a bit more Only War today. This is our second session. After our first session went so well. Oh yes, can't wait. And I think over to Warren.
Yep. So where we left off 2 weeks ago, just a quick reminder, was you guys had sat down in the eastern outskirts of Gabesa, or Gabesa, whatever you want to call it, and you were tasked with attacking and taking an old administratum building that was key to the Imperium's assault on this city, which is the capital of Tryon, which is the jungle world, jungle border world you're trying to conquer at the very start of this crusade you guys are on. So you guys, just a reminder, you like snuck through, well, a lot of other things happened, but just to skip to the combat part, you guys snuck through some of the city. You came under fire from a sniper. You handily got rid of him with a few volleys of mortar fire. Then you crept up on the Administratum building, which is the building you guys can see here, which is now in various states of on fire and blown up. And you guys came under fire from what appears to be a squad of Halian Hegemony guards who opened fire on you guys. We're in a bit of a struggle right now. Some of you have gotten a bit of shrapnel, maybe the odd bullet wound in the arm, things like that. And right now you guys are under heavy suppressive fire, but you're dealing back quite as good as you got, basically. In particular, Bermuda's character, Boomer, got a amazing shot on this bunker over here and completely lit it up with a mortar. So that was pretty good. Where we left off, it was just about your turn. Yeah, your turn, Phil.
I seem to remember.
Yeah, so I'll remind you what you remember. There's two guys at least in that bunker, and one of them has a heavy stubber, and the other is probably his loader. And right now they're spraying bullet fire out of there. Oh yeah, that reminds me. I need to turn on this. I need to lower it down as well.
Nice.
There. So, yeah, heavy stubber fire is like nailing out of the corner of the building there. There's someone, you're pretty sure there's someone on the top, like the third or second floor of the Administratum building in the ruins, firing las carbine fire down on you. There was another guy, but you think you killed him, which is this guy here. He had the rocket launcher. But there was another las carbine firing at here, which has stopped firing at you, Phil.
Mm-hmm.
Or, sorry, at you, Fit. So you don't know where he's gone from now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so there are the people you think are left. You can guess there's maybe 4 or 5 of these, the enemy squad left alive, so feel free to do what you want.
Oh, and just to double check, you have still also pre-prepared your Wilhelm scream for when...
Yep.
Excellent.
Because if you don't have that, what do you have?
Alright. I would like to put my eye up to one of the holes in the wall and like try and look everywhere for when someone shoots from a location that isn't just the bunker.
Alright, well, just remember there's a spray of, like, solid fire coming from here, like, spraying all around here. You can do it, though, like, I mean, you can peek out and have a look, easy.
Yeah, we'll say I'll do that.
So you just hold fire until you see someone take a shot, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Alright, so a shot does ring out. You hear the crackle of a las carbine coming from somewhere on the second floor of the Administratum building, somewhere in the direction over there. You hear, like, the crackle of las fire and then, like, the blue tint as, like, a rapidly, moving bolt of energy. Well, a series of them blasts their way towards Piker and Voxbox's position again.
Okay.
And it misses, though, but it sprays all around you guys, cuts and burns a carbon score through the pretty flimsy shed you guys are beside right now. So, Piker, it's your turn. Do you want to fire, by the way, Locke, on that guy? You can wait until someone else fires if you want to.
I mean, we're already being fired at this general direction, right? So
you're being suppressed, so you'll have a negative penalty to fire at anything.
Yeah, I think I'll wait still. But I mean, like, I'd like to like call out to, you know, like, third floor to the right kind of thing.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. All right. So Piker, you hear, you know, Locke scream where the fire going in your direction was coming from.
All right. I have my grenade launcher, but I can't shoot it, so I'm gonna hand that over to Voxbox and, like, you know, reload this.
All right. So he can do that as a half action for himself. So that will be his turn. Basically, pick it up and then reload it.
Yeah, and I'll just fire with my my last gun
All right.
towards where Locke pointed out.
All the while, like Vox is reloading your grenade launcher, getting it ready again. He just keeps like screaming, "Will somebody please shoot that guy with the heavy stubber?"
Alright, so what's the modifier here?
So I think when you're suppressed, it's minus 20. Let me just check.
It is.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. I don't think I have any pluses, so it's
You
-1.
do. If it's a single shot, yeah, it's a +10 for single shot.
Alright, so -10.
Does he get like any bonuses from me kind of telling him where to go at all? No.
Yeah, you can get a +10 bonus from him giving you a good idea of where to shoot at. That makes sense.
Oh shit, that's the last pistol. Well,
That's the
doesn't
same
matter.
hit.
thing anyway. Yeah. So it's a bare hit. So roll the damage of your last like rifle instead. If you know what I mean.
Wow.
Wow. Okay, so that, you know, you hit it, but it was such a whiff, and like you're fairly sure you didn't do much damage at all. Like you know, just the side of some of the concrete inside the building, just, you know, cracks and buckles, and you see a burned scar from where your last shot hit, but you doubt it did much damage. It probably just sprayed the guy with some shrapnel or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, so that guy continues to do what he's doing. And it is your turn, Hariel. Sergeant Fit.
Okay, I'll take aim and single shot at normal power along with Sentinel on the heavy stubber.
Alright.
Boom.
Yep, so that's a definite hit, so roll damage. It's a Righteous Fury, confirm it. Yep, so roll the extra critical damage. 1. Alright, so let's see the damage first. So you shot at the heavy stubber.
Yep.
There's 2 guys in there, I'm gonna see who you hit. Okay, so you hit that guy. You did 13 damage. Where did you hit him? You hit him in the head, actually. Lucky.
Yeah.
The Emperor smiles upon us.
So that was brutal, so it doesn't even really matter about the critical much. So I mean, you guys, you know, you hear the volley.
It'd probably be more of a squishing sound.
And you hear, well, you can see just the corner of your vision through the small, like, gun port in the bunker. Fit, you're fairly sure you see, like, the crimson spray and burning look of, like, you know, fresh blood, if you know what I mean, that's been carbonized by las fire.
Nice.
Alright. Boomer, your turn.
Unfortunately, I can't remember if I had already repositioned the mortar or if I had
You
just
have.
gotten out here.
Yeah, you just got out there and you repositioned it, yeah.
Okay. So.
And it has 3 more shots on it, I think, because you've launched 2 since the start. Yeah.
And I believe it was pointed at the north bunker, was my instruction, I think.
Yep.
So I'm.
So
Yeah.
ballistic skill test, it's always -10 for indirect, right? Yeah.
Yeah. You do get range modifiers, I believe.
Yeah. How far away are you from the bunker? Well, where do you want to? You want to fire it in the little hole again, all right?
Get the dunk.
Uh, so like 90, so I think it's just flat by the sound of it. Well, yeah.
Minus
Yeah,
10.
flat.
We get this in, we stop calling you Boom and start calling you Michael Jordan.
No, it'll be flat because you get plus 10 for short
Oh.
range, and then minus 10 for, indirect and all that.
And another plus 10 for single shot.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Not that that matters much.
No.
Yeah.
So roll 1d12 and then 1d10 for Scott. And it goes 3 meters. So it blows up just about there. And it's a 5 meter for frag shell, right? Alright, so that hits, roll damage.
Yay.
Wow.
Okay, so a little bit of a, the shell actually just goes through the roof and you're pretty sure it's a dud, alright?
Yeah.
Okay. Alright, so over on the bottom left of the screen, Fed and Easy just threw a crack grenade at the fence around it to breach through it. And Fed, as soon as you did that, just a wave of las carbine fire comes spraying over this way and a suppressive fire. Okay.
Alright.
And it actually hits you as well, the suppressive fire.
Wow.
So I'll roll damage now, unless you want to dodge or whatever.
No.
Alright.
It takes some getting used to.
Don't think it... Okay, but anyway, you're suppressed anyway, so you need to make a willpower test. Bear in
Is
mind,
that just flat?
no, I think it's negative, isn't it? Let me check it again.
There is a negative, yes.
Yeah. Combat. Suppressive. Yeah, you take a minus 10 pinning test, so it's minus 10 willpower test. But if you have anything that helps you with pinning or whatever, it comes into effect.
Oh, I don't know. Let me check. I'm sturdy.
I don't think that applies.
Probably written on your arm to remind you.
No, I don't think I do.
Well, you have resistance fear, don't you? Yeah, you have resistance fear.
We all do.
Yeah, because your captain is a maverick, so he gives resistance fear.
So it's just a flat test.
Yeah, flat. Yeah, so you are not afraid of the bullets, so you're not pinned. Your turn.
One more time into the breach, Easy.
He just sort of looks after you, puts his hand around your back and runs with you while you charge and you soak up the bullets. Or well, the
That's
last
all I do.
Okay, so as soon as you get in close, you can actually see the guy on a lower floor, ducking behind a shattered piece of debris against the wall, and you can actually see him firing at you now. All right.
I'll give him a really mean stare.
Oh, good. So the suppressive fire firing out of the bunker ends, okay? And you're not sure why, it's the guy just ran or something, but the suppressive fire has ended on you guys. You get a bonus to get out of cover next time, okay?
He couldn't take my stare.
It's the Care Bear stare.
Wasn't even the same guy, but alright. So because the... Let me see. Yeah, let me see. Yeah, okay. Because the suppressive fire has ended, you can take a plus 30 willpower test to get out of it now, because there's no longer any bullets flying. But it's up to you, what do you want to do, Phil?
I will try and break the fear thing. What have I got to roll? Sorry, willpower.
Yeah, it'd be plus 30 willpower, but it's plus 40 because you have resistance fear. So it's basically like to convince yourself to duck your head up after the bullets were flying for the last like 2 minutes.
Fuck.
Ah, you failed.
So good.
So Locke is just still there, like in the fetal position, rocking back and forth, clutching us. Yeah.
Hold me, Angel.
She does not want to hold you.
Who would know? The psycho is afraid of bullets.
I don't like my own pain. No one likes their own pain.
Debatable.
True.
Would we have gotten our fate points back?
Yeah, you would have, yeah. So restore your fate points if you spent them at all.
Oh yeah,
Right.
1.
Yeah, same.
Alright, Piker, your turn. The last carbine fire from the second floor, like to the right, has ended, so you're not sure if
Okay.
the enemy is retreating or not, but it seems like the fire is more or less stopped.
Think I should do a willpower then as well.
Alright, plus 40. Yep, so you and Voxbox are no longer suppressed.
Nice. Can I do anything else this turn?
Yeah, you have one more half action if you so choose to do anything.
He's not done reloading it, right? Because now it's 2 turns, so...
Yeah,
Okay.
whatever it takes.
Alright, I'll just... Can I take a half action shot? I can do that, right?
Yeah, you can. You can just take a single
Yeah.
shot.
Just make a single shot with the same guy up there again.
Alright.
Second floor.
He's no longer firing down though, so you have no idea if he's there, but you can just shoot at it if you want to.
Yeah. Modifiers were...
It's just plus 10 for a single shot.
Yep.
Yeah.
No.
Yep, so that's a miss. Okay. Remember to record your ammo, because ammo in this game can be important, because it could be a while before you get any more. Alright, so Thermite, your turn.
I will run with Sentinel to the sandbags
Okay.
because they offer more protection.
Boomer, what do you want to do?
I'd like to take another shot and redeem myself.
Did you reload the mortar? Oh no, you have another shot actually.
It's got 2 more.
Yeah, so you're gonna fire it straight out of the bunker again, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Alright. Go ahead then. Should
Same
be
flat roll.
plus 10 I think it was, wasn't it?
Oh right, it's
Or
not
the
suppressed
mod.
or...
Oh yeah, it is plus 10, yeah.
My suppression didn't really come into account last time, did it? It was just inaccurate versus range, huh? So it should
Yeah,
still be
you
flat.
weren't you weren't suppressed.
No.
So yeah. Because you're behind the warehouse.
Yes!
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Alright, so that lands dead on the middle there. Roll damage.
Come on, a better damage roll.
Nice.
Okay, so there is another explosion. Need to reduce the size because it wasn't quite as impactful. Let me see, we'll go with... I actually got a sound for the mortar. This is it. There we go.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Thunt smash.
Alright, so on this time you don't hear any Wilhelm screams though, so you're not sure if the person is still in there anymore. Okay, so the guy in front of you is just like panicking as he sees like an ogre charging at him, Fet, and he just like starts wildly like semi-autoing straight at you. Okay.
Alright.
Because of your size, he hits you twice. Do you want to dodge or anything?
No.
I think it's +2 for carbines. Let me just check.
think carbines are the same damage.
Yeah, there might be. I get confused between games. Yeah, they're +3. Yeah, that's right. So I doubt that hurts you. Yeah.
It just tickles a little bit.
So he's just like screaming, wildly firing at you. Your turn.
How far is point blank?
3 meters, isn't it? Or is it 4 on this?
3 or 4. I think it's 4.
Let me find out. It's 3 and all the others. So
Right, so I'm gonna half move to here, and then I'm gonna shoot him in the head. So I'll get a +10 from single shot, and a +20 from point blank.
30.
yeah, it's 3 meters or less.
And because you have scatter, you get another +10 and +3 damage.
So I'll get a +50.
Yep.
See? Yes. I just went Portuguese.
I think I'm turning Portuguese. I think I'm turning Portuguese.
Well, I hit him.
Yeah, he will try to dodge. I doubt he has much luck though. Nope, roll damage. Remember, it's with a +3 for scatter.
Oh goody.
Yeah, so he just like splats, right?
Wow.
He's like a pool of blood that just gets like eviscerated by your Ripper gun.
So
Yeah.
I click my Vox communicator and I say, Tango down.
Oh, that's brilliant.
You know the sound for when you like rip someone to shreds with the bloody mess perk in Fallout. You need that for these moments.
Okay, so you guys wait a few seconds, but no return fire is immediate, and the sound of like ambient combat like sort of goes off into the distance as it looks like the fight is pushing further north. So all you hear is like the distant explosion and combat far off. So if there were any more hegemony guards left, they've either retreated or you have no idea. But there doesn't seem to be any return fire. So what do you want to do? And you can break out of suppression now if you're still suppressed.
Yeah.
I'll be
So-
like, fall in on Fett. We need to move in on the building now.
Alright. So, Sentinel took one in the arm, and
Yeah,
Angel
on the
got a
s-
bit
with
of
the
shrapnel from the rocket. Yeah. So he's like leaning over you a bit because he's lost a bit of blood, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I'm holding him.
You want me to carry the little one?
No thanks, Fett. I can handle him.
Yeah, so when you guys come through like the broken iron fence that was demolished by Easy's crack grenade, you guys just see like the eviscerated bloody remains of this guy here, like it's been like shot into the wall by his Ripper gun, if you know what I mean. His Ripper gun is basically a heavy assault shotgun, so
Yeah, I'll be like, good job, you two.
I told you, Tango down.
I need a picture
I heard
recorder.
you.
but so you
So-
can make your fucking snuff porn like
Oh, yeah, Lord. So can we make our way into the building from here?
Yeah, though the building is a little bit on fire now, which you guys can hear.
Well, fuck it. Let's go. We gotta secure it.
So, you guys enter the building. I do have a map for this, but right now it's just narrative. So, you can tell, like, the second you get in, like, the upper floors of the Administratum building have, like, almost totally collapsed or been gutted by fire from both the Imperial Navy and, you know, whatever your firefight incurred through mortar and everything else. So like the upper floors are like burnt down to their scaffolding and like their ceramide and their concrete and everything else, and their plasteel, everything else keeping the building like standing. The first 10 or so floors are completely collapsed and like destroyed essentially. The last two are like fairly stable, but like they're mostly just covered in rubble from the collapsed floors above. It seems that the squad of trader troops you were fighting were using like a sub basement as like a living quarters and a barracks, to say the least. But it looks like they've abandoned it. As you search through the building, you find one, two, three, four, five corpses, and then to your north, you also find the building just up here. You find the corpse of that sniper. His body is like pulped, if you know what I mean, by the mortar. But you find it in two pieces, and like what's left of his long las is like destroyed as well. But if you wanted to, you could pick up the weapons left over from the enemy troops if you wanted to. But other than that, it looks like they abandoned the building. You don't know where the rest of the squad ran to, but you presume they just legged it off to somewhere else.
Yeah, I'll be Boomer, Crater, Fat. You secure the building. Watch the perimeter.
Yes,
Angel,
sir.
Locke, take care of the wounded. Piker and Vox, check the dead. Take their last packs.
Right.
So, if you take their las packs, you can find four las packs, and one heavy stubber that looks like it was destroyed when your last mortar shell crashed into the roof and blew it up, if you know what I mean. It looks like it ran out of ammo, and that's why the guy ran, by the way. So, yep. So 4 las packs is basically all you can salvage. You could also salvage 4 las carbines if you wanted.
Nah. The rifles are better.
Yeah. Besides that, like the sub basement that they seem to have made their barracks in seems to have been mostly abandoned. It looks like they were down to their last dregs of supplies anyway. This group was probably cut off or like abandoned by the rest of the group, the rest of the enemy regiments, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll leave Sentinel with Locke and Angel, and I'll just search the building around. Before I do that, I try to vox over to Lieutenant Maxon. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And
confirm that the area is clear for the drop. So, all right.
We have the building.
Okay, well, first of all, we'll do the healing, I guess. Locke, do you want to try and heal the people that were injured? There's 3 people injured. You can't heal Fett because you failed the last time to heal him.
Yeah. He hasn't been hit again since.
No.
Okay.
He's got like a deep gash in his arm where he got shot by a enemy sniper rifle.
Oh, it's nothing.
I'm going to go up to Piker.
Mm-hmm.
Medicaid. I'm going to use my medkit for plus 20. Yeah.
Okay, so what's your intelligence?
44.
Alright, so it's 4 plus per 1 degree of success, so
5,
you get 1 more. So yeah, you heal 5, Piker.
Right.
Who else took damage?
Your two of your companions are lightly wounded. Sentinel and Angel. Sentinel took some shrapnel, and Sentinel took a shot to the arm.
Okay, I'll go for Angel first.
They do need time to rest, though.
Yeah.
It's a bit more complicated with them.
Yeah.
How many hit points do you heal per day?
I think you just heal your toughness. Well, you might want to check that. I think it might just be 1 because they changed it a couple of times.
Well, they ain't getting healed.
As far as I remember, the way it works is you just heal 1 naturally per hour when you're lightly wounded, and if you have any unnatural, you just add your unnatural to it. So if you have unnatural whatever 2, I think you add 2 to it, so you'd heal a lot quicker than everyone else.
I'm checking that.
I think what's happening here is I'm looking them over and being like, it's just a piece of shrapnel. Just like
Yeah, you just take
hold
the
your hand
shrapnel
over it.
out. You just take the shrapnel out, spray a bit of disinfectant on it, and like wrap it up, that kind of thing. So they're
Poke
still
it a
kind
little
of
bit.
yeah. Record the screams.
So
Okay, so here it is. Characters considerable. A lightly damaged character removes 1 damage per day through natural healing.
Yeah, that's it.
If a lightly damaged character devotes an entire day to bed rest, he removes an amount of damage equal to his toughness bonus.
Yeah. So if you're like moving and fighting, it's just 1 per day then. Okay. Makes sense.
And then there's heavily damaged, which no one is.
It's like a week or something.
Yeah.
Check on natural toughness, because in other games that added something to it as well, but I don't know if it does in this because they changed it.
No. It says for lightly damaged is, you get your toughness bonus, so your natural would add to that
Makes
if
sense,
you
actually.
rest.
I guess they just streamlined it. Yeah, makes sense. Alright.
You do have an advantage for being heavily damaged because heavily damaged is only after twice your toughness bonus.
Yeah. Plus, I think sturdy adds something to you're always considered lightly wounded, if I remember.
Yeah, something like that.
Might want to go check what sturdy does, Aaron, yourself.
Yeah.
Okay, so you guys like clear through the building. You don't find anything too out of the way. You gather up the enemy dead and like pile them in a corner over here. Strip them of anything that's useful to you.
I'll if the scope of the long glass is still intact, I'll break that off.
Yeah, it's still intact.
Yeah, I'll break it off. I'm gonna use it as like a little monocle or something.
Alright.
Would you gonna put a shade on it and have it?
Oh, sturdy
use it
makes
like-
you hard to tackle.
Alright, okay.
We don't have binoculars, so
Yeah.
sniper scope will just do for now.
Well, it's better anyway, because then you can have your weapon ready while you take a look.
That is true, Fat. So
I know these things.
So after I look through the building, I'll go help Biker and Vox with the piling up of the bodies.
So the fire eventually like dies out. You guys combat it a bit, but the bunkers are in total ruin and they're completely useless. But Sentinel sends a Vox communication to Lieutenant Maxim, and it takes some while. And after about 20-30 minutes of you guys clearing to the building, getting all the bodies together, Sentinel like sort of walks up to you with a fresh bandage around his arm, sort of wincing a little, but he's got some pain suppressants and things going for him, and he just sort of hands you the sort of brass communication end of the Vox communicator and says, "Lieutenant Maxim on the line for you, sir."
Thank you, Sentinel.
He just nods and turns around as like it's still in his back, but you can communicate with her anyway.
Mhm.
So it comes through and says, she says, "This is Lieutenant Maxim to 2nd Company, 1st Squad, Sergeant Flitt. Have you secured the Administratum building for drop deployment?"
Yes, ma'am. The building is secured.
Alright, you just hear like a few whirls and clicks and confirmation in tones at the end, and it just says, "Confirmed, 2nd Squad, 1st Squad. Please be aware that a mass deployment of the Thermian tent is now occurring. It should be with you quite shortly. Captain Rankar himself has requested to drop to your position. He should be with you shortly."
Yes, ma'am. We'll keep the building secure.
Okay, she just goes command out, and then the Vox communication ends. Alright. So you guys can feel free to like set yourselves up and move around a bit inside like the courtyard or in the building yourself. Just position where you guys are, like tell me if you're on the 2nd floor, that kind of thing.
I would like to be on the highest floor possible.
Okay.
I'll be with Biker down here.
Mhm.
Yeah, I guess we were tasked with like piling up the bodies, so
Yeah,
that's
we
probably
would
what
be
we're
down
doing.
there.
Every now and then, you guys hear like in the distance, you hear like the whirl of like an Imperial Valkyrie or a Fury fighter bomber, and you hear like the usual airstrike some distance to the north, just going off every now and then.
I have high awareness, so I'm totally up here just looking around.
So you can pretty clearly see, Locke, that the combat has like advanced further to the north, if you know what I mean. You're all aware you're not the only regiment being deployed, and you guys were just the first wave. It looks like the entire Thermian tent is being deployed to like the southeastern front, and a lot of them are going to be dropping quite soon where you guys are now. But you're also aware that there are other regiments fighting to the northeast of you, the southwest, and the northwest as well. So what conditions are going on, you're not sure. You've just been ordered to hold this bill until the drop occurs. So a couple of minutes go by, then you guys hear the familiar whirl of retro thrusters occurring, and you see what appears to be like dozens of drop pods descending down on the city from all angles, and a very large group of them breaks away now that there's no longer any real resistance in terms of anti-aircraft weaponry, and a huge number of these drop pods start making their landing just outside your outside your conquered strong point, and they land like that.
Sweet.
So like all along the map there.
Nice.
So a couple dozen Imperial landers pop out, and yeah, like dozens and dozens of Termian troops come out. The vast majority of them are just the Termian line troops from several different companies, but it looks like a large contingent of the first company of the Termian Grenadiers has showed up as well, headed by Captain Rancor. So as they, deploy out and get into their formations and get ready to move, a very sort of solemn and choleric Captain Rancor starts coming up to you with his command staff, and he just sort of, jumps over the barbed fence and makes his way in, and clearly immediately wants to talk with you, and like salutes in your general direction. With him, he's also brought Sergeant Ellis as well.
I salute and follow along.
Okay, so he just says, "Damn fine job, Fit. I couldn't have asked for a better conclusion as well. Now that the Administratum building is still intact and relatively secure, we can use it as a ample strong point for our advance into Gebesa." And he just sort of smiles and says, "Well done."
Thank you, sir.
And then he
Resistance was pitiful.
he just sort of nods and says, "Yes, the enemy's strategy has become somewhat more clear to us." He then clicks his fingers and shouts down the line and says, "Bring up the holosphere!" The hololytic sphere, sorry. And then a few of his command staff come up and stand around here, and they position a device on the ground, and you can see that it is like a holo projector, and it comes into life again and displays the situation as it's currently occurring. And then he points out at a few key positions on the map, one to the north and one to the south, with the capital of Gebesa in the middle of it. And he says, "You'll note these two positions here. It seems our attack caught the enemy somewhat off guard. Even though the Imperial Navy has been bombarding the planet for several weeks with with airstrikes and full-scale orbital bombardment, it seems the enemy was not expecting us to drop straight into their strongholds like this, and we've more or less hit them with quite a shock tactic, and they are having a hard time figuring a way to counteract our plan." Then he points to the one to the north. It seems that the majority of the Halian hegemony infantry have taken a position at the foot of the Ironback Mountains near the and then he just points off into the distance. You can see them over there, and then you see these huge, massive sort of hard granite mountains in the distance, and Gebesa is at the foot of it. Basically, Gebesa is like built into a crater, if you know what I mean, and the mountains are at the back of it, if you get what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
And then he says the other enemy force is this one to the south here, and he points to the flanking beacon on the south, and he says, "This appears to be what remains of the hegemony mechanized and armored infantry regiments. this poses something of an opportunity and a problem to us, and then he sort of looks to the northern one again. There's at least 8, maybe 10 regiments of traitor guardsmen to the north, and they seem to be their veterans. And he looks over to the pile of corpses you guys have in the corner there. The ones you fought so far appear to be conscripts at best. We think they're taken from Tryon's native populace. This world was only conquered by the hegemony around 5 years ago, and it's one of the main reasons why the High Lords of Terra agreed to this campaign in the first place. It was one of the last imperial strongholds in the Sanctum sector. This wanted active aggression and heresy against the Emperor couldn't be stopped for. So they finally relented and sanctioned Aurelian's crusade, and here we are, he says with something of a snicker and looks around. The ones to the north are veteran fighters, however. They've been fighting chaos and orcs and God knows what else inside the Sanctum sector for years. It'll be hard to dislodge them. We think, or at least General De Vere does, that they're making a run for the foothills of the mountains where they have some sort of secure bunker network. We're not quite sure what they have there, but if they get there in time, we'll be very hard pressed to root them out, and it could take months or years to finally bring this world back into compliance again. As such, in his infinite wisdom, General De Vere has decided that all regiments currently involved in the Tryon offensive are going to be deployed to attack this enemy force before they reach the foothills. This includes the entirety of the Thermian tent, both the line and the grenadier platoons. And he turns around and says, as you can see, it's a bit of a mess. Colonel Garrett, our commanding officer, in his benevolence, has of course offered that the Thermian tent will be at the forefront of this assault. And then he sort of looks grim for a second and says, personally, I think it's a foolish move. And he just sort of looks at you for a reaction for a moment and then says, while it is true that Gebesa is now completely in ruins and that most of the routes through the city are blocked by debris from destroyed buildings, these regiments to the south, the armoured and the mechanized infantry, pose a problem. If we're to send the entire regiment north, along with all the other ones, and attack the foothills, as General De Vere proposes, we'll be left with a distinct disadvantage. If the mechanized infantry, which are being attacked by 3 other regiments from the south, remain where they are, it'll be no problem. But if even just a small force of this mechanized infantry, or God forbid the enemy armor, decided to move north through the ruined city, we'd be hard pressed to resist them if they came up and took us from the flank. Don't you agree, Sergeant Fit?
Yes, sir. Vehicles would be tough to deal with without the proper equipment.
He just nods and says, yes, we're an assault regiment. We're not built for anti-tank combat, and currently there are no specific anti-tank regiments deployed on Tryon. In their wisdom, the upper brass decided that urban assault against enemy infantry wasn't particularly needed. It came as a surprise when the mechanized or the armored infantry turned up at all. And then he just sort of shakes his head and says, damn fools. So what I propose is this, Fit. I'm going to leave you, Sergeant Ellis here, and 2 squads of the Thermian Line Infantry from the 12th Company under your command. And you will stay here and hold the Administratum building as a rear guard for the advancing forces. I don't expect you to take on an entire enemy mechanized regiment on your own, or Emperor forbid, as I said, the armored regiment. If it does come to that, just hold them off as long as you can and simply vox and tell us that they're coming. That way we can prepare something in the eventuality that it does happen. Explicitly speaking, this isn't what the upper brass wants us to do. The Emperor Dan Fools wants us all to advance at the same time. They believe rushing the enemy before they can get into those bunkers is the best bet. So what I'm asking you to do is not exactly sanctioned by General De Vere or Colonel Garrett, so you're going to have to do this of your own free will. I'm asking as your commanding officer to do this. If they question it, it will be on me, but I can't ask you to disobey orders directly, but I believe a man such as you will realize the sense in what I'm proposing.
I do, sir. And if it comes to that, I'll just say I didn't hear your orders clearly.
He just nods and grins and says, we're both men of understanding, and then the brass, it's been a long while since any of them have been involved in direct combat. They tend to lose sight of things on the ground. He just sort of nods slowly to himself and says, Lieutenant Maxim is your communication officer, correct?
Yes, sir.
She reports directly to the command, the command and control vessel in orbit, where Colonel Garrett currently is. If she communicates with you and asks for your current position, just tell them your information with the rest of the Thermian tent under my command. I'll also reciprocate this, so they won't be any the wiser. Is that understood?
Clearly, sir.
All right. He just nods slowly and says, and then he just sort of turns around and yells, "Parax, Milo, get up here!" And then two rather scruffy sergeants dressed in the Thermian tent line infantry sort of come up and stand at salute beside you and look to the captain. And he says, "You two and your squads are now under the direct command of Master Sergeant Fit. Is that understood?" The two of them just sort of look between each other for a moment and then, make a salute and say, "Sir, yes, sir." You just stay here and follow his commands to the letter. Is that understood? There's to be no dissension within your ranks. I know that the line infantry have something of a rivalry with the grenadiers, but for God's sakes, we're all in this together at this point. And he just sort of looks at them hard and says, "If I hear even the slightest bit of dissension in your ranks, I'll make sure that both of you are shot before the end of this campaign. Is that clear?" And they just sort of look at him hard again and grit their teeth and say, "Sir, yes, sir." And he just sort of nods and turns back to you and says, "I am going to take the rest of the company up the line and join the rest of the Thermian tent gathering here." And he indicates a place about 20 or 30 kilometers north of your current position. And he just, turns around again and, nods to his adjutants who turn off the holonet and pick it up again and carry it off. And he just turns back to you and says, "This is going to be a hard fight, Fit. I don't particularly expect the mechanized infantry or the armor to stage a breakout from their positions to the south. Right now they're being bombarded by the Imperial Navy, and there's at least 4 of our own regiments entangled with them, and they can't particularly move. But I don't know who their commander is, and these, as I said, these these Halion hegemony types, they're hardened veterans. Even though they can never match the piety or the sheer will of the loyalty of the Imperial Guard, they're canny fighters and they're not to be underestimated. If they do stage an advance, as I say, hold out as long as you can, but don't waste your men against an entire enemy company or an entire enemy regiment. Just vox me as soon as you can and make me aware of it, and I'll prepare the necessary defenses for our rear line. If you have to, retreat as far as you can. You understood? If you can, make it north to our own lines if that happens."
Understood, sir.
Alright, so he just nods and looks around at the bodies again and says, "As I said, damn fine job, Fit. I see great things in you if you continue on your way." And he just sort of salutes you and then turns to Alice and says, "Good luck to you too as well, Sergeant Ellis." And he and his command squad just start to walk off. Alright, so you are left with Sergeant Ellis, the 2 sergeants of the line infantry, and the rest of your squad. And you guys make yourselves, in the hours that pass, the rest of the company advance north, leaving you with your 3 allied squads inside the Administratum building. The landers also take off and head back to the fleet, and about 4 hours later, you guys have set up a small base camp inside the sub-levels of the Administratum building, just like the enemy conscript troops were doing as well. But still, the sound of combat is in the distance, but a bit softer than before. Alright, so you guys find yourselves inside the bowels of the Administratum building. So you're currently having something of a staff meeting with the rest of the commanding officers. Bar the man known as Sergeant Parax, he seems to have something of a dislike for you, and he is avoiding you as much as possible. The other one, Sergeant Milo, is pretty reasonable.
I like him already.
Alice, of course, is like a good friend of you, and his squad is quite friendly with you, so you were all quite gladdened to see that they were going to be part of the rear defense as well. Yeah.
When I saw him coming up with a Rancor, I gave him a nod as he came up.
Mm-hmm. So, like I said, it's been about 5 hours since Sergeant Rancor and the rest of his company started moving north. The combat has spread even further north, and so that like it's so far into the distance you can barely hear it. And as I said, you're in like a sub level of the administratum building, so it's very hard to hear the combat at all at this stage. Uh, your squads have set up, their bedrolls and their camps and even a small armory to the south where Boomer and Crater currently are. And basically, they've all just sort of relaxed and gotten into it. Even though it's quite dark now, it's like definitely, as I said, the planet has a weird night and day cycle, and it's finally, the sun has finally gone down and things have gotten quite dark. So you guys are all hunkered up inside the administratum building. You have a few guards outside keeping watch over the main thoroughfare. This is one of the reasons why the Imperium wanted you to capture this position and why Rancor wanted you to hold it. Because if anyone was going to try and push north through your lines, they would definitely have to go by this building first, as it's the only place with a wide enough path that isn't completely destroyed to do it.
Hmm.
Yeah. So you guys just find yourself discussing like with a minor staff meeting and going over rotations of guard shifts and things like that. Locke, you find yourself with the Medicae from Sergeant Ellis's team, just trying to patch up Fett and anyone else who was hurt. Piker and Voxbox, you guys are just discussing with one of your friends from Ellis's squad, while a bunch of the Termian guardsmen just make idle conversation. Boomer, you and your companion Crater are just cleaning and reloading your mortar and making sure it's combat ready for the next engagement. Most of Ellis's squad are sleeping in bedrolls up there. Sergeant Parax is having something of a lively discussion and debate with the rest of his guardsmen on what he set up as their sort of armory and mess hall, while a few of them cook their rations into something a bit more edible over here on like a makeshift grill that they've set up in the corner. And basically everyone is just doing whatever they want to. So I guess we'll start with Piker, because he's first on the list according to my Roll20. So you and Voxbox are basically just sitting on a bench talking with your friend, and as usual, Voxbox is complaining about literally everything. First, it started off that you're being left to babysit the rear guard with the rest of these Thermian line infantry, and it was unbecoming of the Grenadiers. You guys should be advancing north as well. And he's basically just being like bitching for the last couple of hours about being left behind, and you're getting kind of sick of it.
Right. So I just like says to him this is the best job we could get. Do you really want to walk all that way into that hellhole? We're fine here.
He just sort of like looks at you and says, "Oh yeah, we're safe in here for now, but you saw what happened to those Halian hegemony guys. As soon as we came along, we rooted them out and killed them. If we're going to really be here and acting as babysitters for the rear guard, it should have been left to the line infantry, like I said. We're just waiting here till, those mechanized infantry come up and run us over. What are we supposed to do against goddamn tanks, Piker?"
Blow him up.
And he just sort of laughs at you with what? Grenades and mortars.
Yeah. I don't know. That's for the higher ups to decide.
He just sort of leans back on the bench and sort of sighs and says, "Sometimes you're a damn fool, Piker, you know that. Rich boy like you has no clue about these things. We need much higher grade explosives if we were in to make a dent on anything like a Lehman Russ, for Emperor's sake."
Do you really think they have those?
And he just sort of shrugs and says, "I don't know, you heard them. Armored infantry, mechanized infantry, they're bound to have something. It's one more tank than we bloody fetting have right now."
We'll be fine.
Then your friend from Ellis's company, called Rogers, just sort of looks you up and down and says, "You two still haven't changed. You're like an old married couple." And he just sort of laughs and says, "If it does come to it, don't worry, Voxbox. I'm sure Piker and I will look after you." And then, Voxbox just picks up his helmet and throws it at him and says, "Fed on you, Rogers." So your bitching continues into the evening as, you two talk. We'll go to Hariel next. You guys are just finishing up the rotation, and Sergeant Milo has proven to be a pretty exemplary officer who's, to the letter and followed you quite ably. It's very obvious that Sentinel likes him quite a bit, and Ellis, just smiles as he clearly suckers up to you, if you know what I mean. On the other hand, Sergeant Parax has been the complete opposite. He's been belligerent at every stage he could. He clearly detests being under your command at all, and he's made it very clear he doesn't want to attend these staff meetings, as you call them. And Milo just sort of turns to you at the end of the meeting and says, in conclusion, sir, I feel I have to talk about Sergeant Parax. He may be part of the 12th Company, but he's been a disgrace since he joined. He and the rest of his men were the dregs of the recruitment office back on Hermos, and they don't take quite kindly to those they see as their betters. And he sort of looks to the rest of you because he's clearly the only non-grenadier in the room, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And he just sort of looks at you and says, "If I were you, sir, I'd watch him carefully, if you get my meaning."
I will, Sergeant.
Then Alice just sort of pipes up and says, I'm sure we can handle Mr. Parax and his discreet grumbling. And he just sort of comes over to you a bit fit and wraps you in the shoulder and says, "Damn, I missed this fight though. You and your squad did a pretty good number of those conscripts. This place is completely cleared out. How many of them do you think you were against? I saw 6 bodies in the courtyard, but it must have been more than that."
Just a minute while my brother coughs. Okay, he's done. I would say it was a whole squad. 10 people. Though the rest of them ran away.
He just sort of laughs and says, "Put the fear of the Thermian tent in them, I guess, then."
And the fear of the Emperor.
He just sort of nods and laughs and turns to Sentinel and says, "Doesn't look like it was without blood, though, Fit." He just sort of looks over Sentinel's bandage in his arm and says, "That looks nasty. High caliber by the looks of it. Sniper rifle?"
Yeah, the filth managed to get a lucky shot.
And Sentinel just sort of braces his shoulder and stretches his arm for a bit and says, "Nothing I won't recover from too soon, Sergeant Ellis." Then Ellis just sort of laughs and says, "You always were a tough one, and straight up and down, Sentinel. Nothing phases you." And then he just sort of laughs and says, "Well, if we're done here, gentlemen, I think I have a bedroll calling my name and some guard rosters to give out to my men." And he just sort of waves his hand and then salutes and says, "Till tomorrow, gentlemen."
Till tomorrow, Alice.
And he just sort of smiles and walks off. And then Sergeant Milo just sort of salutes and walks off as well to join his men, leaving you and Sentinel in the room. And then Sentinel turns to you and says, "That Sergeant Milo is correct, sir. Parax has been nothing but filling the ranks with dissension since he was given this detail. We have to watch him carefully. If it warrants it, we may need to, perform some sort of capital punishment, because I don't see any commissars around here, and we haven't been assigned one, sir."
Yes, a commissar would be lovely to have in times like these. But, well, I do believe we can fit the bill somewhat if push comes to shove.
He just nods and says, "There's one more thing I didn't want to discuss with the other sergeants,
Yes.
sir. I think we should send a small scouting detail to the west of here. If the enemy regiments make a breakout and head north, like Captain Rankar suggested, they're definitely going to come along that road. It would probably be good if we built some sort of forward observation post. That way we could know ahead of time if they're approaching."
Yes, I was thinking about that. Build both a forward-looking post and, if possible, booby trap the way north, so that if the need to retreat comes, we have cover of explosives on our way.